Welcome back to The Smart Landlord, a podcast for owners who want fewer headaches, better tenants, and stronger results. My name is Francisco Nieves Saranto with RentCare Property Management, and today we're going to talk about one of the most misunderstood concepts of rental ownership, rent ready. What does that mean? Most landlords, they think that rent ready means it's good enough, but smart landlords, they know it means ready to perform. So in this episode, we're going to talk about reduce vacancy, attracts better tenants, avoid early tenant maintenance chaos, and why rent ready is such an important part of the rental process and being a smart landlord. The real definition of rent ready is very simple. Rent ready means that the property is safe. You would not want to go into a property that is not safe, that the locks are not properly installed, that the windows are accessible, they don't lock, that the sliding doors are not secure. Also, you will not like to go to a property that is not functional. The property needs to be functional. All the mechanical components like plumbing, electric, air conditioning, appliances, they all must be working, good working condition. I don't know. Sometimes we think, we could live here. I don't mind that the refrigerator door needs to be pushed up a little bit in order to close properly, but that's not functional. So another very important aspect is clean. And I'm not mean just sweep and mop the floors. It's like everything in the property has to be clean. Bathrooms, the tubs, the cabinets, the kitchen, all the appliances, of course, the walls, the floors. Some people skip the window. Some people skip actually the exterior of the property. So cleanness is one of the most important parts because the tenant that is going to move to that property is going to require to deliver the property back to you in the same way. And guess what? If they start with a dirty house, you're going to receive a dirtier house. So cleanness is super important. Let's talk about the 4 pillars of rent readiness. Okay? The pillar number 1, safety and compliance. Those are non-negotiable. The property must have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, proper locks, and secure on every entry point. At RentCare, we replace locks every time that a new tenant is going to move in, including the first tenant, because we don't know who has copies of those keys, who has access to the property. So we want to make sure that the property is completely secure. There must be no leaks, no exposed wiring or hazards. So any electrical component needs to be checked to make sure that it does not present a fire hazard or a safety issue for somebody that's going to be living there. And this is tied to risk management. You're providing housing to a family, a group of people probably, and you want to limit your liability. You want to limit your claims to insurance. You want to limit your code enforcement. Guess what? A tenant can call the county to make sure that the property is complies with building codes in the county. So it's better to be prepared. It's better to be rent ready rather than dealing with those problems once the tenant is in the property. Safety issues are never cheaper after you move it. That's the thing. You have an electrical problem, you have a leak problem. The first 30 days define the tenant's perception of the property. So early maintenance requests that the tenant has, that will kill your goodwill. So a tenant's first maintenance request should not be on day 1. Once the tenant moves into the property, we'll make sure that they are comfortable, that there's no issues, and that They don't immediately have to call you and say, hey, by the way, I moved in, but the faucet is leaking. Hey, I moved in, but the toilet is not flushing. Hey, I moved in, but the air condition does not cool enough. And of course, cleaning is not optional. Cleaning it's actually part of the marketing. When we take pictures, and you're going to be taking pictures and videos of your home when you're presenting it to other tenants, and they see that the property is not clean, or better, even worse, when you present the property in the pictures like it is clean, and then you open the door to show them and it's not clean, now you have an upset prospect. Do you think that person is going to actually apply? They're not going to apply. And there you go. You wasted your time. So professional cleaning sets this down. Focus on the kitchen, focus on the bathrooms, focus on the floors, and focus on the smell of the house. If your house has bad odors, it's not going to work. It's going to turn people off. So bottom line is that clean properties attract respectful tenants. And tenants treat properties the way the properties are handed to them. You don't want the tenants to misuse your property or not clean your property because you didn't turn in a clean house. You better start working on those before the tenant moves in. Things that I recommend that you do. Not neutral paint, I mentioned that before. Neutral colors throughout the house are key to attract good tenants. Durable finishes, flooring. If you have the option to put a tile versus carpet, we're always going to recommend tile because it's more durable. Not outdated broken fixtures. For example, lighting fixtures, switches, outlets, those have to be in proper order and not outdated, and of course not broken. And of course, the curb appeal is extremely important. Online listings start by comparing your home with other homes, and it's the curb appeal. I mean, the exterior of the home, garden, the lawn, it's not in good shape. It's not going to look good compared to other properties on the market. Remember, you're competing with every other listing in Zillow, not the tenant slots apartment. You're competing with all the other properties that are on the market. When you have fewer disputes, you have smoother renewals. If a tenant has been happy with the property and you have maintained the property and the property was rent ready when they moved in, the chances of them renewing the lease and you retaining a good tenant for a long period of time immediately and directly impacts your return on investment. To summarize this, how rent ready directly impacts your return on investment. Get it done right. Move the tenant in, respond to their maintenance requests, maintain that relationship by maintaining a great rent ready property, and you'll have happy tenants for a long time. Preparation leads to performance, and performance leads to profit. Rent readiness is not a cost. It's a revenue protection strategy. Let's talk about some common mistakes that landlords make. After the tenant moves in, they delay decisions. They get a maintenance request and they start thinking about it and getting 100 quotes for a simple repair. They try to save money on visible items, things that they don't think is worth it. Renting the property on as-is conditions. Well, you know what as-is means? As-is is going to stay as-is, vacant for a long time. Ignoring the leasing calendar, the seasons where the rents are coming or the prospect tenants are, we have a higher traffic of prospect tenants. It's usually between spring and late summer. and then start slowing down, especially here in Central Florida. Every week of delays costs more than most rent-ready fixes. So don't delay. Move fast and move smart by making those repairs and those maintenance happen right away. Treat also turnover as a process. It's not an event. Use checklists